Crafty ones, Pam.vanee here with Pam's Paper Place. I have completed my fairy woodland journal, and it measures, well, with all the, it's about 10 with the cover by, about 7 this way, but the papers are smaller, of course. I am going to keep this one, but I'm going to show you some of the embellishments, and then I'll make another journal and then I will sell that, but I want to have this as a template, and it looks like I need to put a little bead right here. I just noticed, but I can do that later. So I really like how it turned out. It has leaves, flowers, cheesecloth, a little mushroom, ferns and fibers, and then there's a fairy door, and then there's this green burlap and lace, and then some wood buttons. There's a little plain button, and then if you look in the window, you will see that there's a little fairy in there. So that is a soft cover, one signature. Here's the back, and there's a few fluffy things and dangles, as you can see here. And then the closure is different things. It's paper ribbon and twine, different things all put together. So that's what we have. So let's open it up. There's a lot to it and in it. Okay, you can see the leaves at the bottom, kind of poking out the sides. All right. Okay, so the first page, or when you open it up, it's a soft cover, but there's cardstock in between the layers here. Here, I thought this was fun with a little pencil, and it just has this paper ribbon on it. And then here, and there's the cover, and it has this pocket that goes all the way to the back. And I have a card this journal belongs to with different fibers sewn around, coffee dyed paper. This is TLC Creates Digital. And then here I have a fabric envelope. I covered it, stitched around it, zigzag. This fabric, it's a cross stitch. And then I added a doily, some fabric trim, zigzagged around it, and then it has a paper doily that's been coffee dyed, a little label, and then here we have a digital cute little card that's been zigzagged around with coffee dyed paper on the back. And the book smells like pine, so you also have a nice little smell to it too. Tucks in the pocket, a little pencil. So cute. So I'll make another one, and then that one I'll show some ephemera, and then I will list that one once I finish the next one. Here's a digital. I know some digitals are Musings by Nikki, Nikki, and some are Victoria Designs. Okay, here on this page I have a mushroom with some fibers, and I sewed on this fabric here. And then on this side you can see some of that birch paper. And it's a very tactile. Here's like moss on this wood or tree-like paper. We have a little bingo card. On the back I have one of my stamps. So cute. And then we have a little fairy tag with different fibers and seam tape. That's been stitched around. This is from a different kit. Can't think right offhand. And then here is one of those garden seed packets. I added this fibrous paper, and then I roughed up the edges. That little fairy there. Opens up. And then you just have a couple really pretty cards, digitals. So those go in that pocket. All right. Here's a Flowerbook page. I added tulle and lace that's been sewn on. It's hard to see all the details just you know, in the video, but so there's that page. And here I think I told you before, I used that fun stitch here, and then I added this fibrous paper, and then I have a little tag with some you know, twiny that I got from Stephanie with Coffee Paper Scissors. Thank you for this different twines that she had given me. I've been using it a lot. What's it called? Close to my heart. So thank you, Stephanie. I'm using it. And then on this page, there's that like fibrous paper, and there was two little punched holes there, so I just added some twine. Here I added a stamp on coffee dyed ledger. This is a digital page, and I added an invisible pocket like I like to do. So this is the same as what's underneath. And then I added another little field notes to that. Here is a decoupaged pocket with a twine around it. And then I added a little flower. And then there's a fairy tag in here. Let's open that up. And I stamped on this little background. Those are the cutest stamps. And stitched around it. And then the tag inside is a napkin background. And then I fussy cut the fairy, added some different twines, and then I stitched around it. So I thought that turned out cute. Then I added these leaves here. And then you can see the different things. This is a pocket. It's from the Dollar Tree. This mesh. And then I added another flower here for that side. So there's a couple here, and then I added an extra one here. So in this mesh pocket, I have a vintage, it says St. Valentine's greetings. It's a really pretty vintage postcard printed in Germany. I don't see a date, but it's really beautiful. So vintage postcard. And then here is an envelope that I've altered with like a textured paper, and then a little fairy stamp from Graphic 45. Here's a digital image of a fairy, and I added this tulle over the top. On the back is a stamped butterfly, and then here's one of the flowers from a bush that I have in my yard. I made into a seal. This is some of my scanned ferns and flowers from last year, and I did wonky stitching and roughed up the edges. This is so much fun. This type of journal comes easy for me. I can use my imagination and just do different things. So I'm going to be doing these for a while until I get tired of them. And like I said, I'll show you how I make the ephemera, and then I'll list that journal. Okay, I sewed this decorative stitching on this paper. It's like a, I don't know, it has a lot of texture to it. And there's the stitching. There's some coffee dyed. Here we have a butterfly. Yeah, I really love this paper. And then here's a digital with a little twine. And this digi is Elsie Bell's bookshelf. Okay, then I have this fibrous paper digi, and then on here I have clipped like a vellum envelope, and then I have this specimen number. There's a mushroom tag that I roughed up the edges, and then here's a field notes card. I need to ink this up, and I'm going to do it real quick because I'd like to be done with this so I can get things ready to show you how to make some ephemera. It's fun fairy woodland ephemera. Okay. So it's full of things, but you still have bits where you can journal too. So I have fun just looking at the pages. Okay, do I know where I put the paper clip? There we go. Added some fluffy bits right here, fibers. It's been sewn on the top. Here is a flip, and it has this like mesh. It has this fabric, coffee dyed paper underneath, and then here is a cluster, and then a little mushroom charm. Okay, why is this not going on here? Might need a different paper clip. Okay, and then here is a leaf, and I made a tag with a Tim Holtz ballerina doll and a I cut that out. Looks like dragon wings, the little wings, stitched around, and then added some butterflies. Backed it on some coffee dyed ledger paper. There's paper that looks like it has leaves and things in it. I brought this over. It's the birch trim for the pocket. Real pretty digipaper, and I added one of these Tim Holtz flowers because that fairy is holding a little flower. Just for a little something extra. This is fun. It is a shaker card. Backed it on some paper. And I have little ferns that are inside. And then I've stitched around and I put different flowers and things. So, isn't that fun? And that goes in there. I have a little label here on coffee dyed paper. This paper comes out, so it's, I believe I got it from Creators Call Shop, Marcy. I think it's like manuscript or like, you know, writing songs paper. And I really like this little fibers and the leaves. And in here, I have a little skeleton leaf and one of these little cards right there. So right here, I have another little cluster with a little fern, a little mushroom sticker. And in this pocket, I have one of these fuel notes. I have another little card that has wonky stitching, label, butterfly, and it says notes. And we need to ink this up. You think you're done, but seems like there's always something, huh? Okay, so there's that. And then I had dyed these index cards last summer. Here's another dyed index card, added some fibers stitched around that little fairy girl. So you could also write in the back. And then here's just some coffee dyed paper. That goes there. We'll put these things back. It's torn coffee dyed paper. This has, it's like a fibrous paper. Let's bring that up. And then here is, on the back I added coffee dyed paper doily. I don't know if you can see that. And then I added some little leaves and some fibers to this little pocket, little fairies. And I just sewed on a little twine, and then I added a stamp of a leaf. We have an Edith Holden page, and I just added this trim. Here it's another little fairy tuck, and here's some ledger, so that can tuck behind here. And here's some of my dyed paper, green dyed paper, green dyed. And then here will be the middle of the signature, and then here's that kind of fun paper, the fairy on there, and you open it up and you have a butterfly. I've added some of my handmade tape there, H tape. So in the middle here, I have a frog, I have a little fairy door, and I put a little fairy in there. And then here I've got a couple butterflies. Let's see if I can show you that. It wasn't real easy getting that fairy in there. And we have a frog, and then we have a couple butterflies. And that's the specimen right there. That's a cute little frog. So there's your butterfly. And there's more coffee dyed paper, my green dyed paper. And if you hear pounding. We're redoing our small bathroom, one of our bathrooms. So my husband's taking stuff out of the bathroom. So that'll be exciting to get a newly redone bathroom. Okay, now here I like to do this. It's a hanky, and it's a little hanky flip. And I added these little appliques on here just to give it a little weight. But I love that. It's so pretty. And then you open it up or flip it up. I have this dyed doily, and then there's observation with little cheesecloth. And I have this die, and at first I couldn't see it's got a clear, dome over it. So I added some, you can't even really see it. It's like just a smear of some gold on it so that it looks, kind of like glass, so that little fairy's in that dome. But it's okay, don't worry. She's just there for observation, and she'll be set free soon. I've always liked fairies. Had a fairy garden for my granddaughter outside, and yeah. And here's a coffee dyed ledger. I added some of my old vintage masking tape. There's another Edith Holden. Then I added this here, this pretty lace. Here's some of that paper, and then I added this little ruffle. So it looks like yellow handmade paper. Here's the other side of that torn paper, and there's a little label and a mushroom. I really love this. Look how pretty this turned out. With the butterfly, the ferns coming down. So you open this up, and then you have a little catalog thing there. Couple tags, twine. And then in this pocket, you have some fibers. And this lady has found some tiny little fairies that she's discovered. And so it's a little booklet. It's a little fairy card there. A couple of my dyed index cards. And then we have some different dyed papers. And that goes in here. What's going on here? Oh. And then I just added it was a decoupage napkin strip, and I just added that there. And some of this green vine. I really like this page. Excuse me. And you can kind of see how pretty that layers down. This has some lace pocket. Added a little butterfly. And then I added these little fairy cards, kind of roughed up the edges a little bit. Very cute. And then here's a little cross-stitch cloth that I added. And then in here, and then I stitched the fibers down here and added a little paper trim. And then stitched it down. I made a shaker. And we have a little fairy in there. She's on a mushroom. Butterflies and different things in there. There she is. Isn't she cute? Okay. Here is pretty coffee dyed paper, a little fairy there. Here's another leaf here, and we have a tag similar to the other one, but another little Tim Holtz girl and her little sparkly wings. And I stitched around and added some butterflies. And then here, I've added fibers here and a really pretty leaf. And this dyed paper with a fairy. And then this opens up like this. I have coffee dyed paper and I stamped some ferns. And this looks like twigs and things are in there. And then here I added an envelope. So I sewed down this flap and then I made it a tuck here. So here I added two little tags. And then I added like some masking tape, added that flora, the fern, the little graphics fairy stamp. And this is dyed envelope that I dyed. And that flips over. And I love this stitching here that I stamped. And then I put in a really cute one of these poster note cards with that little elf. And I think I got this from Stephanie too. So cute. With the mushrooms. Stamping. Oops. I hit the stand. Sorry about that. And then I have a fairy there. Added some like fibrous paper, zigzagged. Got a couple tags. Okay. Then on this side, it's coffee dyed paper. And I added some more little fibers. And then I have a mushroom. It's a digital. And then we have some handmade paper. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Okay, I have this vine trim here. And then this. Let's see. How do I do this? Okay, this opens up. And you have a little fairy in there. A tree. And she is on here. You could journal in there. I may put lines in there. I'm not sure, but I think you could write in there fine. So, yeah, isn't that cute? So that goes in there. And then you open that up. And there she is. So I got ferns here, mushrooms here. And then in here is a little fairy hiding because, you know, they're shy. So it just goes in there. You can't really see it. It just looks like flowers peeking through. And then behind these ferns is another little fairy. And they're shy. So they're just sitting behind the ferns. And behind the little mushroom tuck. Okay. And I like this page too. This has these skeleton leaves. And this, I've done this before. I have a little magnet here. So this opens up and it is like a little accordion there. And it has these cards in there. Pretty. I love this. Then I added that tape here, my handmade tape. And then that little accordion fold. And I just love the sound of it snapping closed. So there's that. And on here, I added some little leaves and sequins and that little fairy. She's putting fairy dust in there. And other sequins. And then there's this vintage lace. And then on here is some of her little fairy dust or little stars she likes to you know, put that in the garden, scatter it in the garden. Okay, I've got lined paper, little label here, more digital paper, dyed ledger with a pretty tag, fibers. I did a little stamp here. Here's some more pretty floral paper. Did some tulle and some of that vintage lace here. And then we're getting near the end. And then here is a little belly band. It has a button at the top with some fibers, a little mushroom. This is like that handmade paper. And here's a little leaf. And then right here we have a booklet that's been stitched around with different papers. I might put a little butterfly in the middle. I think I will. You know, that pops up. Green dyed paper, and then the same papers. And then here, there are papers this way too. And just sewed it on with a little coffee dyed paper. And on this side, I have a little sewn little fabric here with a dragonfly and then some fibers right there. And here's the last. It's a pocket. And here I have, what do you call this? A writing board. And we have this right here, a little cute little tag. And that, my friends, is my fairy woodland journal. So I will come back when I have time to get things together, and I will show you how to make some of the pages and the embellishments. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Oops.